Oh, and this is how we get down. What's good, everybody? Welcome in. Yes, I know. It is a national holiday, but not here. Not at our brand. We just keep trucking along here on this national holiday, Martin Luther King Day. So all of you that are just kind of easing your way in, you don't have to go to work. You can hang out with us. We educate, we entertain, we learn and laugh here every single day on the Stadium Network at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Prime Video, DirecTV, YouTube TV. Also on YouTube, also on the social media. Now, our schedule on Mondays absolutely packed. In addition to the morning show, we have a supporting podcast around 11:15 a.m. Eastern Time. Then I have my very own show on Sirius XM, channel 156, 2 to 4 Eastern Time for all of your pro wrestling needs. Then at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, it is the Coach and Bro Show on our YouTube channel. Now, you can also become a premium member whenever you want. All right, news of the day. In fact, it's breaking news coming out of the BTT news studio. The Bills have fired head coach Sean McDermott. Much more on that coming up in about 20 minutes. Championship Sunday, it is now set. We know it'll be the Pats and the Broncos, and then it'll be the Rams and the Seahawks for the right to go to the Super Bowl. And finally, Kevin Durant moves into the 6th all-time position, moving ahead of his idol, Dirk Nowitzki, on the all-time list. All right, coming up in 30 minutes, it is National Championship Monday. We've got the Weekend Rewind. We have NBA Showcase. We have a lot to get to. So with all of that being said, I've got help today. Let's beat the books. Let's go. All right, look at this motley crew today running the 5-man weave. And I got to go live to Memphis, Tennessee. First and foremost, did I hear right, DG? Does Ja Morant now want to stay in Memphis? Good morning.
Morning, Coach. Morning, guys. We don't know what's going on. We don't know if we're in a love-hate relationship or what exactly is happening, but he does have a Grizzlies tattoo on his back, so maybe he's staying. We don't really know.
Wow. Speaking of tattoos on their backs, we are feeling the empathy or the sympathy, as it were, for Mikey P off screen and Brandon, the executive producer of Bet MGM tonight. Both diehard Bears fans, from ecstasy to agony. Brandon, but you showed up today. That's half the battle. Good morning, sir.
I will always show up for you, Coach. I will always show up for you boys as well. Good morning. Bears aside, all the names that are out there in the coaching circle, how does Zach Taylor still have a job?
It's a very, very good question this morning. Did not have him on my bingo card for the morning. Okay. Now, next, he loves himself a little day soccer, and this man is all, if nothing, but opinion-based. Live from the dirty Big Chuck. What's good?
Morning, Coachman Company. Yeah, as a beloved Saints fan who had some of the worst beats of all time, my condolences to all the Bears supporters out there. You have something good to build on. There's always next year. Yeah, top of the morning to you. Ready to get it going.
I will say that was the greatest fourth down tying play in the history of football. I will stand on that. And finally, he is our numbers guy for a reason. Say good morning to Raphael Esparza. Good morning, Raphael.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, family. Yeah, Bears fans, it's Cubs season now. Chicago Cubs are getting ready to put pitchers and catchers are getting ready to report. Come on, Bears fans, let's go.
I was listening to Peyton's dad the other day on the Sports Lodge out here, ESPN Radio, right before I do my weekly hit. You guys know how it is. And he actually said, we're 31 days away from pitcher. And I was like, we can't be there already. We cannot be there already. And then Kyle Tucker signed for $60 million. I knew the world was a crazy place. Crazy place. All right, gentlemen, I feel really good about this week. So here's what we're going to do. If we have 4 straight winning days, 4, Monday through Thursday, it's all we got to do. I will count 500 days too. I will give away 5 pieces of merch on Friday, but it all has to start with today. So I have one very simple. Wow.
Learn my lesson.
Almost embarrassing for the rest of you. DG, my guy, best bet, start us off.
Yeah, let's go to the NBA today. And this is an early start. It is a 1:30 start time here on the Eastern. But we're going to go Jalen Johnson under 7.5 assists. It's at -110. He's under in 7 straight games. Let's make this thing 8. But he's never had more than 5 assists versus Milwaukee. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing started here with an underplay. But then a little bit later in the day, we had the Pacers and the 76ers. First half over the 110.5. It's at minus 110. They had 121 points in the first half, and they're only meeting this season. I expect this to be a fast-paced game, especially early. And we're going to go over that 110.5.
Yeah, that game starts at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Very important, as DG said, to look at the start times. First one today is 1 o'clock Eastern. It's the Bucks and the defenseless Hawks. Boy, they are bad. Trae Young's like, woo. All right, let me come next door. Brandon, what do we got today?
Let's go to the college football playoff title game, the Natty. I'm excited for this one. We got Indiana, Miami. Look, I think this is going to be Indiana all day long. I think Indiana rolls Miami. I really do. So I'm going to take Indiana minus 7.5 at minus 115. And then I'm going to go to the over, obviously, at 47.5. Indiana might hit that total all on their own.
It does kind of feel that way. Coming up in about 27 minutes from right now, we're going to break down the entire game. But Kurt Cignetti, he's a gem, that guy. He was asked basically about the spread, and he basically said it's a sucker's bet. This guy, he's like a puppet master. He knows exactly what he's saying on every single question. All right, DG, great job. Brandon, great job. All right, let me come downstairs. My guy, Raphael, what do we got?
We're also going to the Natty today, but before we talk about my play, wait on this Indiana play. Books and prediction markets are telling me so much money's coming in on Miami right now, we could see a 7 pop up. So I would maybe wait because we could see a 7. A lot of 7 minus 105s right now are going on there, so we could see a 7 probably this afternoon. Well, my play, it's a play that we always like to talk about when we do special shows. Give me the first quarter under in a special game in a 7.5 between Miami and Indiana. The Hurricanes' last 4 games, all 4 of the first quarters went under the total. Indiana's last 6 games, they've been a split 3-3. It's going to be defense, and defense tonight in this game. So I take the first quarter under 7.5. And then going to the ice. Don't forget, there's some early NHL games and early college basketball games today, too. So check the times when you're placing your bets. We're going to take the Vegas Golden Knights on the 60-minute or 3-way line at minus 125. These 2 teams are just playing opposite hockey. Flyers have dropped 6 straight. Golden Knights have won 7 straight. In those 7 wins, the Golden Knights are scoring 5.1 goals per game. I like Vegas at home tonight.
And that game is 8 p.m. Eastern time. It is a full list. First game is Buffalo, Carolina at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. Then there's a 4 o'clock. Then there's a 5 o'clock. So there's games throughout the day. All right, my guys, well done. Which brings us over to Chuck. My man, where are we going today, sir?
A little day soccer, EPL, Brighton, Bournemouth, otherwise known as the South Coast Derby. And with the Seagulls coming in scoring an average of 1.8 team goals, while the Cherries, they score an average of 1.6 goals on the road. We'll go ahead and back the both teams to scoring over 2.5. You know this one's cashed in 3 straight, Coachman. And then NHL nightcap, I'm going to that same game. Philadelphia in Vegas, this is just a don't overcomplicate it play. Philadelphia games that went over the total in 8 of 10. Vegas in 11 of 15. I'll go ahead and ride with the over 6 in Sin City.
You cannot tell me, guys, that you guys don't die laughing when he says that stuff, too. Come on.
Cherries.
Yeah, it gets me every fucking time. It is a tough crowd. All right. So I'm trying to manifest good mojo. So we already have the 5 merch giveaway. So we have 8 picks today. Oh, all right. If we go 6-2. If we go 6-2, we'll give away a piece of merch on tomorrow's show. Real quick, I know we've got the weekend rewind coming up after an incredible weekend in the NFL. But it seems like the NFL, obviously it's King DG, but I don't know if I can remember a time where we've gotten to January 19th, and if you walked up to somebody on the streets, they would have no clue who the number 1 team in college basketball is right now. I've not seen, other than a few picks we have here on the show, nothing's been all NBA. Does that surprise you a little bit?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all because I love the first month or so of college basketball when you can find that edge. And then from like November all the way to like maybe February, it is a no bet for me because it scares me. I don't know what these dudes are doing. I don't know who's playing, who's on campus. Yeah, it's a stay away from me.
And the story that came out last week, Brandon, with the 29 kids. Now, they weren't major colleges, but still Eastern Michigan is a Division I. Does that scare you away from college basketball at all?
Coach, if I'm betting on Eastern Michigan, I got to dial that number that's on the bottom of the screen on most betting sites because I've got a problem, and especially if I'm dropping that much money. So, look, I stay away from college basketball really until just before the tournament because it's just so hard to read with these kids. You don't know who's taking a night off. You don't know who's going to show up. And some of these smaller schools, especially this time of year, they're playing for tournament rights. So it's a stay away for me too.
And I always feel like the totals go down, down, down as the season goes on and on. Raphael, you worked in Vegas for a very, very long time. And when there's interest, you always say, well, this is the reason for it. When what's the reason that college basketball, at least the perception to me, is no, and it's not just our show. A lot of shows don't focus on college basketball, hardly at all.
Because it gets overshadowed by the NFL, college football. College basketball starts this Saturday because there's no college football. There's no NFL. It's just college basketball and NBA and NHL. College basketball season for betting, for books, starts this coming Saturday.
Very, very interesting. By the way, Raph, you said there was a bunch. I have no games on my men's basketball schedule today for college. Why am I an idiot?
There's games today.
I'm in the top 25. There's no top 25 games today. That's what it was. Okay. At least no matchups, I guess I should say. All right. Still to come, guys. We got a national championship coming up later tonight. Did anybody see the videos of the getting out of the last game? Because I think I've told you guys when I went to the Super Bowl that the traffic, it was 3 hours to get out of there. You're going to see some stories tonight that are absolutely bananas. DG, we talk a lot about Brandon and Mikey P and their fandom for Chicago, but this is your college team. This is your squad. You've been talking about them for 2 years. Are you nervous at all? What is this? What we are 13 hours before game or 9 hours, I think.
Yeah, not worried at all about them Hoosiers, Coach, because these are grown men playing college football still. And yeah, Carson Beck might be as old as the entire Indiana team, but the entire team, they're old men at this point because Kirk Cignetti found a loophole, and he's got all the old dogs out there still playing.
I tell you what, he has if I see one more of those content creators that go 0 5 stars, 0 4 stars, zip it. Absolutely zip it. Brandon, you're from this part of the country. If Indiana wins tonight in 20 minutes, you guys are going to give me my predictions. This is going to change the entire landscape of college football. But Miami, they've had 5 natties from like 1983 to 2001. Are you nervous for Indiana fans like DG?
I'm not. I'm not at all. I think Indiana is that team. I think Kurt Cignetti is that coach. This team, they just dominate people. They are on offense, they are a force. On defense, they are a force, and nobody talks about how good their defense is. Their defense is better than Miami's, and all the talk is about Miami's defense in this game. I think Indiana, I don't even think this game's close, Coach. I really don't.
I'm starting to lean a little bit that way, but I don't want to give my prediction away. But I will tell you this, and we're putting a pin in this right now, and I will stand on this nonsense number that's out there for Fernando Mendoza to be the number 1 pick in the draft. He's not even a 5th-round pick. What are we talking about? And it keeps getting higher and higher and higher, Raphael. I can't take it. I can't. Minus 8,000, what are we doing?
Tom Brady likes him. He said it multiple times.
That should speak volumes right there. That should speak volumes right there. Are we kidding me right now? I'll leave it there. We're just getting started here on Coaching Company. It's a holiday for many of you, just waking up going, I got the day off. Not us. No, we're up working. We're grinding. Now, what did my guys see over the weekend that they would like to illuminate? Also, we're going to dive a little bit farther into Miami and Indiana and 2 big games of a lot of games on the NBA hardwood tonight. This is Coaching Company live as always. Man, we love doing this so much right here on the Stadium Network. Come on back. All right, boys, we have a problem. Apparently, we're at an impasse because this coming Friday is the deadline for the future of the college football playoff. Now, here's the situations. Big Ten and SEC, they control everything. And DG, the Big Ten will only agree to a 16-team playoff if the SEC agrees to a 24-team playoff in 3 years. Does this get passed?
It 100% will get passed. Because why would the SEC not say, hey, we'll allow more teams in? It only allows them who they think has the best conference ever, because SEC loves the SEC. I think that they're going to have to go ahead and agree to that at some point. Why not?
I would think so. It's just more money in the pockets, getting closer to the big conference as everybody's talking about. Brandon, your take?
It should get passed. I don't think that it will, though. I think that this is going to go until at least next year, because these two guys that are talking about this, the head of the SEC and the head of the Big Ten, one, they don't like each other, and two, the SEC doesn't want more teams to be able to beat them.
You're such a savage. Brandon, I need you to your left. I need you to scoot to your left. Your left. Your left. Now a little bit. There you go. See how you're perfect right there?
Sure. I was looking at the camera, so I didn't see my.
I understand. I need you. There you go. Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. By the way, shout out to Nonsense McGee. Thank you for the super sticker. College basketball over under still work. Oh, if you know, you know. Look at Nonsense out there flexing just a little bit, Raph. He does that.
College basketball has great value right now because no one's betting it, and the odds makers aren't moving it because they're too busy looking at NFL head coaches.
We are going to dive into that breaking news off the top. We've got Sean McDermott news. We have the weekend rewind. We have national championship coming up in 20 minutes. We've got a lot to get to because it is a busy holiday, January 19th, 2026. All right. Producer man, no transition here. We'll go McDermott and then a little weekend. I don't know why I can't say weekend. All right, we're back live in just 5 seconds. Let's go. Okay, welcome back. I am the coach. This is Coach Company live on the Stadium Network, Prime Video, DirecTV, YouTube TV. Coming up in about 15 minutes or so, we'll dive into the national championship game tonight. It is Miami, and it is Indiana. But before we get to Weekend Rewind, gentlemen, we got breaking news. I came down right before we went on the air that the Buffalo Bills have decided that they're going to add to the coaching vacancies in the NFL. And Sean McDermott, after an incredibly positive run, his record is fantastic, but they couldn't win the big one when they needed to. DG, does this surprise you?
It does surprise me a little bit because it seems like Josh Allen and Sean McDermott have had a really good relationship. And I know that doesn't mean everything, but also who's out there, the coach that they might be going for. And I'm curious if we have a little buyer's remorse from John Harbaugh, who could have been a great person, a great coach to take on this team.
I think that's a great take that we don't think about sometimes, is when there's a coach out there you might want and you don't know that they're there. Well, then you've got to make that move, which normally doesn't happen. But we've got to talk about that. Brandon, your take.
Yeah, I think there's another coach out there that they might have liked too, which is Kevin Stefanski, who also might have liked to go there as well. Mm-hmm. I think this was time. If you follow me on all my social media or over at BetMGM tonight, I've been saying this for a couple of weeks. Anything short of an AFC title for the Buffalo Bills, Sean McDermott needed to be gone, especially this season with who was left in the playoffs. Sean McDermott needed to be gone. Maybe even Brandon Beane should have been fired as well. But look, I think that there's a lot of names out there, and there's one in their own house, which is Joe Brady.
No, he's been a hot commodity for several years. Great offensive mind. Raphael, your take.
Keep an eye out for Mike McCarthy name to be mentioned of because he's out there for a job. Does Josh Allen had anything to do with this? Did they ask him, hey, if we let him go, is it okay? It's going to be very interesting to see who they bring in. I don't think it's Brady. It wouldn't be shocked if they bring in a bigger name than Brady.
I would be shocked if it was Mike McCarthy, to be honest with you. They had to have asked Josh Allen. They had to have asked. But now Josh Allen just turned 30. He's no longer that blue chipper. And I think everybody's starting to feel the pressure just a little bit. All right, plenty more this week on all of the openings in the National Football League. All right, plenty more things happen over the weekend. An incredible divisional round of the playoffs. It's time for the Weekend Rewind. All right, tech is clearly. I love it when Evie mucks our platform. Nobody comes in for a holiday. Nobody works a holiday. All right, where are we going to go? I want to go to my man Brandon first. I know an incredibly heartbreaking loss for you guys in Chicago, but it was incredibly exciting for all of us to watch that game go all the way into overtime. Start us off today. What do you got?
Look, the Bears, tough loss last night. Heartbreaking loss. I was at a Bears bar. The silence right after the game, the field goal goes through and the game ends. And then 3 seconds later, everybody starts clapping and cheering because this was the most exciting Bears season we've had in maybe ever. It was amazing. It was fun to watch, and the future is bright in Chicago. Chicago fans should be happy about what's going to happen in the future. Let this loss burn, but I think it's a learning spot, and I think it only goes up from here for the Bears.
That's a really, really good take. And just being a sports fan, that was kind of hard to watch. And you felt like, but that's what football in the playoffs is supposed to be, isn't it? Like just the emotion, the living on the edge. I was nervous, and I did not have a dog in the fight whatsoever. But once they each got the ball in overtime, you knew, DG, you knew that the next field goal could win it. And so I thought it was as exciting as you could get. And certainly Caleb Williams has nothing to hang his hat about despite that late interception.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing for me is like, hey, we're seeing Caleb Williams rise, even though I've been against him and I don't think he's as good, but he showed out this year to where he maybe can rise to that spot. Unfortunately, it was a bad pick that he threw late in the game. It might have been a receiver's fault, but in the end, they played a great season. I'm glad that the Bears fans, I didn't expect that. When you said that, Brandon, I did not expect that they would get a round of applause. I thought it'd be throwing stuff at the TV at that point.
Raise your hand if that was the greatest fourth down game-tying play in the history of the playoffs. Yes? I mean, that was absolutely sick. Absolutely sick. I don't know if you can make anything better than that. And when Chris Collinsworth, who's called over 500 games for NBC, says, I've never seen – believe him because he's been there for a minute. All right, up next, my guy, Raphael. What are you heading on today, sir?
We're going to the Houston-New England game. And coming into this game, all we heard was about Houston's defense. Houston's defense. New England played nobody in their schedule. But you know what? Who outshined yesterday was the Patriots defense. They outplayed the Houston defense, only allowing 48 total rushing yards and 3 sacks and 4 interceptions. Where was Houston's offense? Where was their defense at the end of the game? Drake May at the end of the game showed out why he should be the MVP, not Matthew Stafford. I was so impressed with New England's defense. That is why they're the road favorite. That is why they might have been a road favorite even if Bo Nix was going to be the quarterback of Denver. They're playing some really good football.
5 turnovers, 4 interceptions for the Texans. I was out on the golf course with my son, and every time I looked down, we had the TV piped through the Bluetooth in the cart, and I was like, how did they get the ball? How did they get – how? I couldn't understand how the ball was going back and forth. 8 total turnovers in that game yesterday. Absolutely bananas. But the Patriots, they have their next guy. They have their guy, Drake May. All right, my guy, DG. It's a weird situation in the AFC that I don't know that we've ever seen anything like what happened where you win the game. Oh, he's got a broken ankle. When did that happen? Oh, it happened here. And now we've got a backup playing in the AFC title game. Where are you headed today, sir?
Yeah, I'm looking at Bo Nix here, and he played a really good game there going against Buffalo, winning 33-30. And we talked a lot about it this past week of who would have the most passing yards. He came up 5 short of actually having the most passing yards. Bo Nix was playing great football. He's played very good football the entire season. And realistically, he's been dependable because he's honestly just been there and been the starter there for Denver. Denver has a really good defense. They also have a really good home field advantage. But what next for them? We're not really sure because now we're looking at Jarrett Stidham. If you look at this backup quarterback, he is the only quarterback, and the Denver Broncos are the only team to not have a backup quarterback start one of the last 2 seasons. And so because of that, never having a start the last 2 seasons for the Broncos, he now goes into the AFC Championship game as the lead starting quarterback.
If you guys hear a really loud yell, rest assured that's going to be me screaming when I hear the first Jarrett Stidham revenge angle story coming into the AFC title game. He was drafted. He was a Patriot. They shipped him out of town, and now he gets to come back to his old. Stop it. He never played there. Hardly at all. Stop. I don't know who's going to be out there watching right now. It's going to be one of you. I could say a couple names, but I won't. Diana Rossini. Did I say that? What? All right. My weekend takeaway. We're all sleeping on the best team in this entire playoffs, guys. And we're talking about the Seattle Seahawks. 41 points they scored, but yet they had one receiver that had over 29 yards, and that was not Jackson Smith-Njigba. They scored 41 points and won by 35, having their best player with 3 catches and 19 yards. That's how good this entire team is. When you start the game off returning the kick for a touchdown, you're up 17-0 before you can blink an eye, and you get the Rams to come to your house. But let's not forget, the Rams and the Seahawks in this same building, boys, they played the game of the entire year. We had the 2-point conversion of the entire year, 38-37. So, DG, let me come back over to you. Do you think we can see a repeat of that extraordinary regular season matchup that saw 75 combined points?
I hope so. Like, that's what playoff football should feel like. It should feel like just a complete juggernaut, a battle between two giants. And I know one of them is Sam Darnold, but the other one is Matt Stafford. I think that these offenses can get off enough, but also I think the defenses shine late into this game. This should be a really good game, a really good matchup. It's probably going to be the best game to me on the entire weekend.
Interesting. All right. Brandon, what do you make of that? Oh, no. No, you did not. You can keep talking all you want. We can't hear you, big dog.
Son of a. I was doing a favor. I was clearing my throat. Spent the night at the Bears bar last night, screaming, yelling. My bad. Anyway.
The thing we love here at the brand, excuses. Anyway, please continue.
With the teams that are left, this is just going to be so much fun next weekend. I mean, when you're talking about Seattle and LA, like that game right there is going to be fantastic. And I don't know that there's going to be a better game than that. So that's where I'm at with these playoffs. I think that the teams that are left are just going to be fun to watch.
I agree. And I hope, Brandon, that we can get to a point, because I've really been on this thing on the wrestling side of things, where we can just watch and enjoy the damn game and not have to pick it apart, details, and just be able to talk about what is happening in the game. That's what I want. Raphael, from a numbers perspective, as we have these 4 left, where does your mind take you?
That Seattle Rams game is actually the Super Bowl, because if it's Seattle or Denver or Seattle, one of these other teams, it could be maybe a dud. That's why when we talked last night with a bunch of odds makers, Seattle, if they win, they're going to be a 6-point favorite or higher no matter who wins this Denver matchup. So they're going to be the betting favorite, and I think we need Seattle to be in the Super Bowl for a prop guy who can make some props out of the Seattle team.
And boys, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I don't care, because I actually practice this into the mirror, saying the names of the teams in the Super Bowl to get excited. I got to be honest with you, boys. I don't know how this one's going to look. Let's just practice just real quick. Seattle and Denver. Seattle and New England. The Rams and the Broncos. See, it doesn't work. No. It doesn't work.
Darnold and Stedham.
Now, why'd you have to go there, Raphael? Why did you have to go there? I thought we were above the Mendoza line. Oh, my God. You sell those? Oh, my gosh. See what you've done? Just bring the whole show down. Still to come on the other side. Speaking of, you guys are beautiful in social media. We have a rumor out there about Buffalo from Diana Rossini. We'll play it for you. Breaking news coming up on the other side to get my guys' reaction. Also, we're going to dive into Miami and Indiana. It all ends tonight. This is Coach and Company, having a great time as always. It's a holiday right here on Stadium. All right, welcome back, all you degenerates. Now, if you ever wondered why some players can play forever, because essentially there's no rules. What do we mean by that? Let's just roll this video of Carson Beck, and you be the judge.
class yesterday? If so, what class? And I know there was a pep rally on campus. Just what has it been like being you as a student this week, particularly yesterday?
No class. I graduated 2 years ago, so.
All right, very quick and I guess to the point. DG, what we learned is that he has not been a student, or he graduated. I don't want to insult him. He graduated 2 years ago, but been playing ever since. And apparently, you don't even have to go after a master's either. You could just say, I'm in these 3 online classes, and that's all you have to do.
Yeah, I don't get it. I know he graduated, like you said, from Georgia 2 years ago, but you have to be taking some kind of classes. When I was going, you had to be a full-time student to carry your scholarship. So you had to have 12, I guess, credits at that point.
Yes.
And so I don't understand how this works anymore. Maybe there's a loophole, or maybe it's just a bunch of BS online classes, but there's something weird happening.
But you're right. You have to be going towards a master's.
Right.
There's a lot of graduate students that play football, but they're working towards a master's. I'm sure you did this, Chuck, when you were in college. Yes?
You already know, but I can already say he's the perfect Hoosiers player. They'll probably be scouting him out the game. That'll be the perfect scenario for him next season.
I know. Brandon, your thoughts on graduating 2 years ago? What are we doing?
He's channeling his inner Matthew McConaughey and Dazed and Confused. The older I get, they stay the same age.
They stay the
All
same.
right.
All right. Raphael, you got 10.
I never went to college, so I have no idea. But I guess there's a class called a history of rock and roll that my wife took.
You are something else. We're gonna publish the one-liners of the happy, unhappily married man. That's gonna be the name of the book. All right, we were back live for the second half in just 5 seconds. Let's go. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I am the coach. We have just crossed the bottom of the hour. If you're watching us live, thank you very much. It's 10:32 in the East. It is 7:32 out here in the West. We know it is Martin Luther King Day, a national holiday in our great country of the United States. So a lot of you are just getting out of bed. Thank you for starting it with us. Now, we'll get into the national championship game here in a second. But, gentlemen, I got to bring you all back on because it's funny how social media works. I mentioned some of the high-level reporters out there, but I also have a love-hate relationship with dirt sheet writers because they throw up headlines and just stuff that doesn't make any sense. So with that being said, let me read the latest from social media, DG. I'll come over to you from Diana Rossini, who I worked with for too long at ESPN. She said on X, talking to NFL execs around the league about Buffalo's next head coach, the name that keeps coming up is a familiar one. A Buffalo native and someone Josh Allen loves, Brian Daboll. Do we think there is a universe, DG, that could ever happen?
Yes, I think that actually is a really good take. And I don't know if that's the dirt sheets that she's working on, but I forgot about Daboll because I was thinking this morning what direction they would go. And I even thought about Bill Belichick. And I know that sounds so stupid, but I know he would love to give it back to the Patriots and the New England organization. But yeah, Brian Daboll would be a really good get because he was the OC there at one point.
And he would be the opposite. Because McDermott's not super fiery.
Right.
Like they need somebody's going to get in there. And he gets pissed, but it's pissed like a sophomore that gets kind of bullied at school. That kind of pissed, not like I'm a dog pissed. Brandon, your take on Brian Daboll emerging as a leading candidate?
I love Brian Daboll. I loved him in New York. Look, I know that they've had their issues over the last couple of years, and that's why he was let go. But I think Brian Daboll's a leader of men. I think Brian Daboll's a guy who can get the job done, and he's already been there. He's already got a rapport with Josh Allen. So I think it kind of makes sense.
It does. There are a few people out there, Big Chuck, that are beloved in a certain situation that maybe the national fan base just doesn't understand. This would be one of those situations.
Exactly what I was going to say. He is beloved in Buffalo. Plus, what they're going to say is, look what he did with Daniel Jones when he had a healthy quarterback. Now, if he has a healthy quarterback with Josh Allen, he can definitely take a team to the promised land. I think it's a pretty nice fit.
All right. Well, we'll see how it goes. So I wanted to give a little bit of love out there to Diana, working those streets in the NFL to get all those fighting the Adam Schefters of the world to get all those scoops. All right, gentlemen, it's time to talk national championship. And for that, for the last time this season, we go back to school. All right, it always starts with the number or the predictive market. So we got to start with my guy, Raphael, because so far, Raphael, we've got two teams. One that nobody thought should have gotten in. They weren't even their league champion. And we're talking about the Miami Hurricanes, 5-time national champion. Then you've got Indiana. They've never won a national title. They've got a guy who's been there all of 2 years. He now got a brand new $90 million plus contract, and he is the guy that's changing the game, the face of college football. So let me come over to you at 7 and a hook, total of 47.5. Start us off.
It's pretty funny how you said that because both prediction markets and sportsbooks are taking pretty much the same action on the side. All Miami money coming in right now, even as I looked at my screen about a couple seconds ago. But it's totally different on the other side as the total. Prediction markets trading the under around 52 cents. But the books are getting over money all morning long. So what's going to happen in this total? I think it's just going to land anywhere between 47 and 47.5. I don't think we see 48. So wait to see if you can get your number, especially if you like Indiana. I still think that 7 pops.
Speaking of the total, let's come over to Charles. You're my overs guy because a lot of times when you predict an over in this kind of a game and you predict a blowout, it's because normally things get crazy in the fourth quarter where there's like those 3 or 4 touchdowns that people forget about. What do you make of the total tonight?
Absolutely think this one could get over. I think Indiana could possibly get over the total by themselves because they just don't let off. If you watch Signetti, he just keeps the pedal to the metal. Plus, I think we see some turnovers. Beck throws possibly a pick 6, fumbles, short fields. I like the total to go over. I think Indiana straight blowout in this, and I learned my lesson going against Indiana. And anytime the books of the most exposure is Miami, you really like Indiana.
Yeah, I like that take a lot, DG. This is your squad, and I'm a big fan of buying half a points. And for me, that 7.5 is like a blinking red light. What about you?
That's the issue on me is that hook is the 7.5. I believe that Indiana wins this game by 10 or more just because I think they're that dominant of a team. But if I can get a better number, just as Raphael just shared to all of us, just wait because you might be able to get the 7, which you end up getting a push if they only win by a touchdown. But I like overall the team total for Indiana. I know it's 27.5, but the Miami Hurricanes haven't given up a lot until last week, and they gave it up to 27 points to Ole Miss. I think they can give up 28 here to Indiana.
Big difference between 27.5 and 28.5.
Yes.
Huge. You might as well be 30.5. At 28.5. Brandon, let me come over to you because I thought Chuck said something very, very smart. That Kurt Signetti, he may not be about the bells and whistles, but he may be about making a point and leaving a legacy, putting that IU flag in the ground by running up the score in a very respectful way. I think I agree with Charles. What about you?
Yeah, I hate to keep hammering against Miami, but look, if you're going to put money down on Miami tonight, I'll give you my Venmo and you could just send that money to me and I'll put it to better use because Indiana is going to win this thing big. I agree with Chuck. They might reach the total all on their own. I'm going to take Indiana. I'm going to walk the total up to 50. I'm going to walk the spread probably up to 10, maybe even 13 and get crazy to see what I can get. But I love both of those numbers. I think 41-17 was my final score, so that's where I'm at with it.
Now, college props during the regular season aren't really a big thing, and I do believe that by next season you probably won't be able to bet on props at all in college. That's what I believe. But if you had to, DJ, I'm going to give you 2 numbers. Here are the passing yards for the quarterbacks tonight because people love betting on quarterbacks. 202.5 for Carson Beck, 220.5 for Fernando Mendoza. If you had to play one over, which guy would you back?
I like probably Beck the most, and that's probably the opposite of leaning against with Indiana here. But the reason is because Indiana's run game is really strong. I think Beck could be trailing here by more and then just kind of giving up on the run. So over 202.5, whatever that number was, I do like Beck in there.
Okay, one for Beck. Charles.
Absolutely. I took the words right out of my mouth. He potentially could be trailing in this one, and then the Indiana running game, big runs, busting them off. Mendoza, he could probably even come out of the game. Little brother could probably even get some time. So, yeah, like the Beck over 202.
Yeah, that's another little sidelight that a lot of people don't know is that his little brother is the backup at Indiana. I don't know if he's going to be the starter because they've already brought in another big name, but he's a nice little story. Raphael, are you going to go 3 for 3?
Yeah, he'll be a backup next year as well. But no, I'm not going to go 3 for 3. Yes, Beck is the best number to take. But what if Miami takes the lead? What if Miami plays well? No one's getting Miami any respect. And I think Beck has something to prove because everyone's talking about the Heisman guy. What about Beck? He can put some big numbers on the board.
I think that's actually what we were talking.
I know, but everyone's talking about if they're behind. If they're behind, they're behind. I'm thinking they're going to be ahead.
Oh, but you do think he's going to go over the total like the other two guys?
For different reasons.
Oh, okay. But we arrived at the same destination?
Yeah.
You just went a different route. Okay. It's like old school map style. Okay.
Man got his map quest wrong.
Yeah, apparently so. Apparently so. Okay, I'm going to ask this a different way. Raphael just said that people are disrespecting Miami. He used those words. And Brandon, I kept you for last on this one, and it's a quarterback question, but I felt like you just caught a stray. Did you feel that too?
Look, Raphael, I'm going to tell you the same thing that I tell my GPS when it keeps telling me to turn around when I know where it's going. Shut up. I know where I'm going. Miami gets rolled in this one. There's no way I'm taking the Carson Beck over, though, because I don't even think if they're down, I don't think this Indiana defense lets up. I think they are too good. I think they are going to wreak havoc on Carson Beck. I'm more interested in his interceptions prop.
Interesting. I'm assuming it's over a half. Does anybody know the juice on that? I haven't looked at that one yet.
Minus 145 last time I checked.
Minus 145 to throw an interception? Okay. You guys make me laugh. All right, it is prediction time, gentlemen. Give me 20 to 30 seconds, DG. I'm going to start with you.
Let's go 30 for Indiana, 21 for Miami.
Okay. 1 for IU. Brandon.
41-17 Indiana.
41-17. Apparently you didn't hear the 20 to 30 second part. Raphael, what do you like?
Even though I think Miami's going to hang around, I still think Indiana wins 26-21.
All right, 26-21. So far, 3 for 3 on IU. Big Chuck.
And I hate to pile up on one team, but I think it's destiny with the Hoosiers. 42-21 in a blowout. I think Miami may get to the team total late. So big one here for the Hoosiers.
42-21. So 51, 63, 48, 40. So only one of you does not have the over coming in. You guys have the 3-1 to the over. Yes?
Yep.
All right. All right. We'll make that note. All right. So I think sometimes we get really, really stupid, and we don't believe what we see right in front of us. I believe in Indiana. I believe in this team. I believe that Kurt Cignetti is different than everybody else, and I believe that Indiana is going to cement themselves as not only the best team in the country, but I think how programs are going to be run moving forward. You get one big check, Mark Cuban, thank you very much, and then you go get a bunch of high school kids, and you develop them. And in the meantime, you win a whole lot of football games. All right, so 5 for 5. We believe that IU gets it done, and we believe that IU does cover the 7.5 as well. All right, still to come here on the show, we've got 2 things that we still have to get to. NBA Showcase. And on this holiday, there's games starting in the afternoon. In fact, one of our best bets on Lock It In, also an afternoon game, so you got to get that in very, very early. We talk all about it. And have the Thunder kind of got back their mojo? We'll discuss next. This is Coach and Company, live as always, even on Mondays, right here on Stadium. Come on back. All right, we continue on here on our YouTube page. Guys, last night it got lost in the shuffle a little bit, but the Lakers, best defensive effort of the entire season. They held Toronto to 93, and DeAndre Ayton, DG, a perfect night. 10 for 10 from the floor, 25 points, 13 rebounds, and that Lakers team looked like a really, really good version of a Lakers team.
Yeah, that's what we see the other side of that with Toronto that's really struggling and they're undersized. And so that's where Ayton plays his best ball. What we're going to see, though, I know this is fool's gold because I've seen it so many times with Ayton. When he gets to the playoffs, he completely shrinks because he's outmatched, outsized. And so I love it for last night, but not moving forward.
It's hard to argue with that, Brandon.
Yeah, this Lakers team is just so hot and cold. You never know which one's showing up from night to night. They're hard to buy into in the grand scheme of things, but I think that right now, here and there, you could probably buy Ayton.
His numbers aren't crazy, Charles.
Not at all. As long as it's a not small ball team like Golden State, someone that can really stretch them from the perimeter, but he can get his numbers as well. But as soon as playoffs, I agree. Anytime he's playing against a smaller team, they're going to thrash this Lakers side.
Man, and this guy was supposed to be Raphael, a can't miss, and he has nights like last night, and he shows us he can do it. He can do it.
He can, but once Austin Reeves come back, then his minutes gets limited because what the Lakers do, they play a little more small ball. So he's going to get lost when Austin Reeves comes back.
Wow. Man, it's amazing when about every 10 years, right, guys, we go through this changing of the guard, and you have your favorite legendary players coming to the end of their careers. I feel like we're going through that right now with LeBron, with Steph, with Jimmy Butler, a lot of these guys, mid-30s, late 30s. I get emotional when I talk about generations because that means my ass is getting older too. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. All right, it's time to talk NBA. We put them in a showcase. I like the showcase. We're back live on Stadium in just 5 seconds. All right, coming up in about 5 minutes, we will lock in our best bets 8 today. And as I said at the top of the show, if we go 6-2 on tomorrow's show live, you could win a free piece of merch from our Coach and Company store. All right, but right now is where we break down 1 or 2 games on the NBA hardwood. And because of the holiday, you got games in the afternoon and again, games spread out throughout. But we are very, very lucky, DG, I got to start with you, that we have number 1 in the East, Detroit. We're going to go to the other game first, Detroit, and then we will they are playing the number 2 team in the East, and that is the Celtics. And when you have the top 2 teams on a holiday in January, it's going to be a really good measuring stick for where both teams are at.
Yeah, if you look at this Pistons team, they're a favorite of a lot of people now, right? They're playing good basketball. And if we look at the Celtics, they've kind of showed out a little bit. Even without Tatum this year, they've hung around, and we did not expect them to hang around as well as they had, especially on the back of Jaylen Brown. But I really just see this Pistons team who's beaten them 2 out of 3 times this season already. I expect them to show out again on the back of Cade Cunningham, who is now a top 10 player in the NBA.
He really is, Brandon. This guy has started to become a star. We talk about kind of morphing from one legendary group to another. Cade Cunningham absolutely is going to be in that category.
Yeah, Cade Cunningham's a dog. He's a top 5 player in the NBA right now, in my estimation. But I'm looking tonight, I'm looking at Jaylen Brown, who has also learned how to be a superstar on a team that, once you get Jason Tatum back, already has a superstar. I love what Jaylen Brown's doing. I think the Celtics are learning how to win with him and learning how to win without Tatum. And I think that I like their number tonight. I'm going to ride the Celtics tonight.
Okay, plus the 3.5. All right, let's flip it over. And this game is first today. This is a 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. And Chuck, I'm going to start with you because we've kind of moved past the Thunder want to break the all-time record when you lose 3 out of 5 or 4, whatever it was. But now they've got to kind of right the ship and start to prove to the entire league they still are the dominant defending champions that they've always been. So they go on the road today. Kind of an interesting number here. They're laying 5.5 against the Cavs team that is also starting to play like the team we thought they were going to be prior to the season.
Yeah, we're seeing some 5.5, 6s, but I think this OKC team is getting focused. I like them in this particular spot. I also like a defensive battle in this one. I think it's lower scoring. I think they limit the Cavs, so you may want to look at the Cavs team total under in this one. But yeah, I can't get away from OKC. I think they had their little slump. They were kind of humbled by San Antonio after they got over that hump. They seem to have found their focus, and now they're cruising.
Focus for sure. But when I see this number, DG, it's alarming to me because I still have in my head that the Cavs are a really good team, but they have had injury after injury after injury.
Yeah, I'm looking at the OKC side now. They're going to be without Chet and without Jalen Williams today. So it's going to be all SGA going up against Cleveland in this game. I think this Cleveland team, they're getting the points at home, underdog. I think that they have enough pieces there on the back of Donovan Mitchell to hold close enough and even maybe shock some people and get a win today.
But because they're missing those players, it brings up a very, very interesting point when we're talking about props and specifically SGA's point prop. When they're missing offense, Brandon, do you lean into his number, which is always hovering between 29 and 32?
Yeah, I think you can because I think SGA is a guy who can really carry this team. My question is, do you really want to bet player props in the NBA nowadays?
No. but people do. I mean, the answer is no, but people do. We're gluttons for punishment. But please continue. We really
no.
are.
I just think that SGA is a guy that can change. So if I'm going to bet his props, I'm definitely going to take the over. I'm with DG though. I like Cleveland in this game. I think that Cleveland can shock some people, and I think that Mitchell is a dog as well. I think him against SGA is going to be a fun matchup to watch today.
I think you're going to start seeing a lot of people just move away. And even this show, we're kind of morphing away from the hardcore props and this and that and kind of moving more into generalized discussion and way more into the predictive market. I find the predictive market way more fascinating than the lines. I really, really do. All right, it's time to have our first winning day of the week. So without further ado, especially for those of you who were not here at the top of the hour, it's time to lock it in. All right, boys, we have plays from all over the board. DG, my guy, start us off.
Yeah, let's start with Jalen Johnson here under the 7.5 assists. It's at -110. He's under in 7 straight. Doesn't do well against Milwaukee. Let's go under again. And then the Pacers and the 76ers. This is a later game today, but first half over 110.5 at -110. They had 21 points combined the first half last meeting. I expect it to go over the 110.5 again.
Raphael, you are up.
Give me the Hurricanes Hoosiers first quarter under 7.5 in the natty. I think the Hurricanes defense is going to flex their muscles in the beginning of the game. And I think it's a low scoring game for this one. And then on the ice, give me the Golden Knights on 60-minute or the three-way line. Just two teams playing opposite hockey. Flyers dropping 6, Vegas winning of 7 straight. So I think opposite hockey will be affected today.
Super smart. If you are very confident, betting the three-way is a way to get your side down because draw is a play, which means a tie, you lose. But like Raphael said, very, very smart if one team is red freaking hot. Big Chuck, you're up.
Day soccer, EPL, Brighton, Bournemouth, and with the Seagulls scoring 1.8 goals at home while the Cherries score 1.6 on the road, I'm going to back the over 2.5 and both teams to score in the South Coast Derby. NHL nightcap, I'm going to that same Philadelphia-Vegas game, just two teams going over the total regular. Philadelphia, 8 of 10 and 11 of 15 for Vegas. Back the over 6 in Sin City.
All right, Brandon, bring us home.
Yeah, I'm going to college football natty tonight. Indiana -7.5. I like the Hoosiers big tonight. That's -115. And then I love the over. I think Indiana might hit this total all on their own. It's very possible. Over 47.5 at -110.
All right, very, very good. A couple of things before we get out of here. I have a little confusion, Raphael. I want to bring this up. I went and looked at my book, and I have 9.5. In the chat, they're talking 10.5, and somehow on the first quarter, you had 7.5 in the national championship game. Where did you get that number at?
DraftKings and BetMGM earlier, I saw 4 different numbers. You can get 7.5, 9.5, 9, and 10. So there's 4 different numbers. I went with the better juice. I didn't want to take 10 and lay minus 130. Mine was 135.
Okay. My book has 9.5 at minus 103 for the under. So what would your advice be for people who have 9 and 10, a little bit higher juice?
If you can get higher juice, just make sure you get the lowest juice. I wouldn't take anything minus 120 if you're taking 9.5 or 10.
Okay. Boy, that's it's weird that we have that much variance for a first quarter play on the different books. It really is interesting. All right, gentlemen, as we get ready for a busy day in the world of sports, day soccer, day hockey, day NBA, and the national championship game tonight. DG, I'm going to come over to you. Fernando Mendoza. Does he put the cherry on the sundae, and is he your MVP of the game? And we're thanking Jesus and all that good stuff that comes with it.
I don't think he's the MVP. I think they're going to give it to one of the running backs and maybe even the offensive line again, as they did in the last game.
All right. Does he look straight into the camera, Brandon, in his post-game interview?
Yes, absolutely 110%, because he is the MVP.
And the over-under of his family shots, the whole family in their seats, Raphael, is what?
I think it's probably going to be either 3.5 or 4.5. I have not put that prep up yet, but it's going to be one of those 2 numbers.
Very interesting. All right. Producer man. Gentlemen, by the way, well done today. All of you. I need that one shot. It's now time for you guys to either go out into the world or to just hang in. It's a holiday. We get it. We have content throughout the day because we're not stopping. But understand this. There's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire team, love them all. My man DG, Brandon, Raphael, Big Chuck, never forget behind the scenes, producer man, and Mike P doing yeoman's work. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's what we're all about every single day. This is Coach and Company. We are live right here on Stadium. Have a great day.